Back again in the main hall, and if you could kindly reassemble at 2:40 so that we can quickly finish with our sessions for the afternoon. Also, all jury members kindly meet Mr. Pradeep and Ms. Vasundhara at the boardroom at 1:40 p.m. So you just have about a couple of minutes. Once again, all jury members to meet Mr. Pradeep and Ms. Vasundhara in the boardroom number 1 at 1:40 p.m. Thank you. Enjoy your lunch this afternoon. And for our fourth keynote presentation, I'd like to invite on stage Dr. Shankar Ramamoorthy. He's the Customer Success Officer at Harman International, and he will be discussing the topic of Testopedesham. Well, he is a total quality management professional who has spent much of his 28-odd years career managing change and improving software quality engineering efficiency through data and metrics-driven quality management systems. He believes in evangelizing coaching and mentoring test teams through inspirational leadership, and he has a vast experience in setting up Test COE, which is Center of Excellence. A big round of applause for Dr. Ramamoorthy. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so I have a tough job because I'm doing a presentation after the lunch. Are you all awake? Thank you, thank you. Okay, so it's a good presentation because I'm going to tell a story, a lot of stories. And you can hear a story, when you hear stories, you sleep, okay? So I will make sure the stories I tell you don't sleep. At some point of time, it's a post-lunch, okay. So I'm Dr. Shankar Ramamoorthy, and I represent Harman, and this keynote is all about the testing industry, which I've been going through for the last almost close to 3 decades now. Got some 29 years odd experience in this industry. So I just wanted to tell certain salient features as to how as testers we can do a better job when we learn the art and science of storytelling. So that's the message here. So from an organization standpoint, Harman is a global company, a multinational, with 30,000 odd professionals worldwide. And we've got 15,000 engineers. We have presences in 30 plus countries. And we have got 16 legendary brands. 6,529 patents in connected cars, lifestyle, audio, video, the speakers and the sound systems which you see of AKG, JBL, and all is from Harman. These are some of our prominent brands, and we are 2 Academy Award winners. So Harman as an industry, we have been here for 80 years now. It's been a long journey. It started in 1928, and so we've gone through a lot of acquisitions, mergers, and recent one was we got acquired by Samsung. So it's a Samsung company at this point of time, which I represent. So the technologies which we have for the connected world is connected cars, lifestyle audio systems, professional solutions, and I represent the connected services of Harman, where we do cloud mobility analytics solutions over the air updates for car, mobile, and enterprises. So this is precisely what the industry and its thought process. So, and the house of brands which we have is JBL AKG Lexicon, which you must have heard about. We are also into lifestyle audio, the Infinity brand, the Harman Kardon brand, which goes into your car and your living room. And then we are into connected services, which is the software arm of Harman, where I'm consulting. So the technologies which we are enabling to the world is on connected car, enterprises, and lifestyle. So that's precisely the summary of this whole thing. From a technology standpoint, we are in signal processing, automation, live performance, connectivity, like any other company, all the software services which we provide. These are the brand ambassadors of Harman. We had A.R. Rahman from India. We have Priyanka Chopra as our brand ambassador. We have other leading names which you can see on the screen who are representing our brands across the country and across the world. So this is the whole picture. So just to make it, and the type of lightnings which you see in Kennedy Center or in Grand Mosque at Mecca, or a Radio City Music Hall is all lighted by Harman, including the Beijing National Stadium and the Super Bowl series which you have been seeing. So this is all at the back. Harman does everything for the organization. These are some of the automotive brands which we are associated with, and in the last year we were acquired by Samsung, and that's how the whole story is. Right at home, right on the go, right at venues, and right in the car, we are there. So at home, we are there in home theaters. On the go, we are there as in wearables and headphones. And when we are at venues, you see us in the stadiums. And when we are there in the car, you can see us at different points, right from security to rear seat entertainment to cockpits of flights and electrification. So that's precisely the story of the company. So that was a quick summary of where I'm coming from. And the second one is hitopedesham in software testing. So I know it's a post-lunch session, but how many of you have heard about the term hitopedesha? Oh, good. Anyone? You can just try. Gyan? Hitopedesha is Gyan. Okay, Gyan on what? Okay, so I think you're right. So the narrative is going to be a little different. So I've been in software testing, but I still feel that we as a tester, we don't tell a good story to our customers. And my job day in and day out goes in meeting customers. So I thought, why not talk about in a session where people would like to tell a good story. So my next question to all of you is, how many of you as testers do storytelling? Oh, great. So are they happy about it? After the story has been told? Incident management. Okay. Okay. Yes. I think this is, so I'm not going to talk any technology for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So I'm going to talk about storytelling, and it's a natural form of communication that is used in every culture. You told stories to your friends. You were told stories by your grandmothers. You get stories from your boss every day, okay? New stories. And you also tell a lot of stories to your boss, okay? So if you see technically, the whole world is around age-old tradition, passed on from generations to generations. People have been telling stories, beliefs, and experiences. So what is a good story? A good story, ladies and gentlemen, is one which engages every part of your brain. And it draws the people, grabbing their emotions. And when you tell a good story and you touch their emotions, you evoke their empathy with the characters which you have in mind, believe me, you have given the best story to them. So, and as a listener who is listening to the story, they stay tuned, wanting to know more and more about the journey which is unfolding, keeping their attention engaged, with imaginations active. So why I wrote this big story here is, storytelling happens to be a very important aspect of our day-to-day lives. You agree with me, all of you? So try this art after this program, after this conference. So why did I focus on this topic? So I was doing a little bit of understanding, and it was neuroscientist Yuri Hasson from Princeton. He was an expert. He said that there is something called fMRI. Hasson, he was talking about a concept called fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging. What does this do? It scanned the brain activity of all the participants which did in the survey. They listened to a story, and when the story began, the brain activity of the listeners were syncing up on a deep level, and there was something called a phenomenon called neural entrainment. Neural entrainment is actually a deep level of connections which goes to the brain, spreading all parts of the brain, including your frontal cortex and your parietal cortex. So if you tell a story to a person, as a tester, as a developer, as a full stack engineer, you tell a story and then convey the news, I think it makes sense. I thought the concept of fMRI has its own significance because humans are more hardwired to storytelling. So that's the message I want to bring forth in this conference. So hitopedesha, all of you were right when you defined it. It's a beneficial advice. And we Indians give a lot of advice to everyone. You agree with me? Okay, but many of the advice are maybe empathic, maybe sympathetic, may not be beneficial, maybe that they have gone through the same process, they may try to just give an advice to feel better. Some people give advice for themselves to feel better. Okay, so there are different types of advice we get. But Hitopedesha is an Indian text in Sanskrit. It's a language which has fables, which has both animal and human characters. So it incorporates maxims, worldly wisdom, and advice on political affairs in simple, elegant, and the work has been widely translated. So in an organization, there are a lot of political affairs you go through. Do you think your organization is full of politics? How many of you feel that? Okay. How many of you feel the organization is only full of business? How many of you feel it's a combination of society, politics, and business? So whenever it touches any of these circles, there is a need to tell a story, and the best told stories were in Hitopedesha, which is fables which you all must be reading or children must be reading in different languages. So just that's the context of Hitopedesha. Let's see how that Hitopedesha works for software testing. So Hitopedesha is very simple, and Testopedesham is the topic, so I'm just building the construct here. Hitopedesha has 4 books, okay? And the preface section of Hitopedesha is called Prastavika. Prastavika means the opening, okay, where the Hindu god Ganesha and the Saraswati, you express some sort of reverence. There are certain texts available. I'll not like to go into the detail, but the whole Hitopedesha has 655 verses and 749 in total. And the shortest version of this has 655 verses and the longest has 749. But technically, if you see, this whole Hitopedesha was translated by Wilkins, and the book 1 has 9 fables, book 2 and 3 have 10 each, and book 4 has 13. So it's 9 plus 2 10s 29 plus 13. So that's the whole body of knowledge, or PM Bok or Svi Bok or T Bok, whatever you can call. That is the Hitopedesha of this whole thing. So let's learn why am I talking about this in this conference. The book 1 of the Hitopedesha talks about Mitra Labha. Can you guess what does that word mean? Mitra means friend. Labh means gain. So how do you gain a friend? So how many of you are testers here? Almost all of you. Do you have a friend? I'll tell you why we have to map it. How many of you have a friend? Okay. Okay, friend in whom? There are a lot of caste systems in an IT company. Developers, testers, architects, sysadmin, BA, MA, CA, I don't know, so many castes we have. So who is your friend in software testing? Yes? Another tester. Developer is not a friend? How many of you are seeing developer as a friend? Your developer is the best friend. He is a fool, then you are the god. The more he develops wrongly, the better you become. Who is your best friend, Joseph? Ashish? Durgesh? Who is your best friend? If you are a tester, the best friend is the developer, because he's such a good friend that he doesn't develop properly. And he doesn't develop properly, you are getting defects day in and day out, and you become the tester of the year, tester of the week. On a lighter note, okay, we'll talk more about it. The book 1 introduced was with a statement to make wise and sincere friends. Maybe poor, maybe destitute, maybe somebody who needs help. The book 1 of Hitopedesha said that a good fine friend is like a vessel where one deposits both joys and sorrow. So the best vessel is your QC, your quality center. What do you deposit in quality center? What do you deposit in your Jira, Bugzilla? Lot of sorrows for them. And every sorrow you deposit for a developer, there is one joy for a tester. One defect is one joy of a tester, that he has found a defect. And that is one sorrow for a developer. So when you're depositing in the vessel a joy and a sorrow, and you are trying to gain a friend, but in terms of the best behavior and action. So the DevOps which you are talking about is all about mitra labha. Everybody is a friend in DevOps. You agree with me? The world has become flat, the software supply chain has become flat, the developer, the tester, the architect, the DevOps guy, the sysadmin, everyone is one. Because the pipe has made it technically a single pipe, a CI/CD pipe, whatever we call. So when a CI/CD pipe has become one single unified platform, that means you are doing hitopedesha of mitra labha. Everybody you are gaining as a friend. That is the first thing I thought when I saw Hitopedesha, book 1, Mitra Labha, DevOps is Mitra Labha, Agile is Mitra Labha. You do a Scrum meeting, you do a meeting where your developers are there, your testers are there, you all are sitting together, and you have one single vessel depositing all the joys and sorrows. Think about it, we can map more. We don't have that much time, but we can keep mapping it. Book 2 of Hitopedesha talks about Suhar Bheda. Can anyone guess what does it mean? Suhar Bheda. Bhed means what in Hindi? Bhed bhav, bhed. You are losing a friend. You had a great friend in Mitra Labha in book 1. You are losing the same great friend due to some reasons, cruel, envious relationship, something happened, envy, misinformation, wedge getting created, a block getting created, the divar, the silos, okay? So do you see silos in testing when you're testing? Is the developer and the tester still having silos? Yes, if it is still there, then I'm saying that you will still be under the wedge of disagreements, rash actions, and without investigation, you will presume. You are not communicating, you are presuming, you are perceiving, you are hypothesizing. So when you're doing all this, you are on assumption. ये जानबूझ के डिफेक्ट निकाल रहा है. Assumption. ये जानबूझ के डिफेक्ट दे रहा है. ये तो जानबूझ के कोडिंग ठीक नहीं कर रहा है. To check whether I'm testing right or not. You never know. So you are entering into Suhar Bheda. That means you have started losing friends whom you gained in the earlier book. The third book of Hitopedesha talks about Vigraha. What is Vigraha? Vigraha means war. The third book says that there is typically a war or an agreed upon war because of the growing pent-up greed, criticism, disagreements which you saw in book 2. The wicked people decide that they will try to wage a war. The leader has become ungrateful, cruel, there is lack of preparation in both the sides, poor fortification, someone does the war on you. You know who does war on you when you're not together? The customer. The customer knows that the developer is not with the tester is not with the architect or the ops guy. It's easy to wage a war. It's easy to just get in. Fortification is poor. The customer can enter into your company very easily because you are militarily weak. You have not binded together. Your ability to make friends has been lost. Your diplomacy is weak. So the customer comes in and he will start entering into every functions of your organization. You're not putting a foot in front of the customer. So remember, if you are not doing book 1 and book 2 right, you may enter into Vigraha, which is the book 3. Just a thought. I could be wrong, but these are some of my extrapolations to this book. The fourth book of Hitopedesha talks about Sandhi. What is Sandhi? You were at war, you were all at disagreements, then what happened? You all have to reconcile and strike peace. And how do you strike peace? You can strike peace or seek peace with all types of people in the world, the people who are truthful. So who are the most truthful people in the IT company? Testers? Okay, a big hand for all the testers in the room. Very good. All are truthful. Virtuous. Who is the most virtuous person in the IT company? Again, testers give a big hand. Great. The just, the strong, the victorious, many brothers, all the people have decided to strike a peace. They are going to pay attention to the very fact that their good old friends have become opponents, and the good old opponents have decided to stage a war. So that's the whole series of this whole book, which I wanted to say. So net, when I say Hitopedesha, it always tells to me from a testing, I've been in testing for long, I always feel that the narrative of storytelling is very, very important. As testers, all of you, test leads, test managers, all of you are in this room, you all have to do only one thing, is that you have to make a powerful story. The link between the software testing and journalism is a very strong indicator of this importance. And delivering the bad news is what you do day in and day out. So you have to be a good storyteller. How many of you feel that you deliver the bad news every day? You are a messenger who are short because you always convey the bad news to the customer. So delivering the bad news is what the testers have to do on a daily basis. So storytelling becomes more important for us. So today, as a part of this conference and the keynote, I'm going to give you 9 business storytelling tips, not testing tips, because testing has become an integral part of business. So let's learn what could be the tips for this. You could disagree or agree with me, we can have a debate, but the first is understand your audience. So when you tell a story, when you go to the customer, when you have to meet the customer, I think the first thing you have to know is that what is the story or what is the topic which your target audience will like. The brands, the people, the type of experiences which you share, I think that is the story which you need to tell better, day in and day out. And that's the first crucial step. You have to know your message. Messaging is very important in software testing. When you're trying to convey to the audience your story, you want them to, the audience wants to feel the message. They have to feel that they were part of that whole story. They were part of the whole sales cycle. Your presentation has to cover the product features. As a testing team, you have to do everything right from the beginning to the end. Whether it's a kickoff, it's a stakeholder meeting, it's hearing the facts and figures. I think at the end of the day, you have to tell an interesting story. And the story has to be memorable. If you tell a memorable story, everyone remembers it. Otherwise, sometimes your dashboards, your data in the dashboard will look very poor to them. They may not be able to appreciate. Your story should have a structure. When I say a structure, it should have some time periods with name and characters. Your story should have a beginning, which we do in any story, a setup. It should have a middle part of the story. You can contrast or conflict. You can debate in that story. And then it should have a takeaway or a resolution or an end. So I think the contrast which you develop in the story creates the drama. So every story should have a drama. It should be a full-fledged pot boiler, a Bollywood pot boiler, which they can remember. The frustrations of your audience can be contrasted with the bright future. You tell a bad story, but you have to also tell a story. How do you minimize the defects? How do you predict better defects? How do you automate stuff? I think you have to write a story to tell your current metrics data. That is the type of story which you have to construct. I try many times in our teams to do that. Be very authentic. Very simple testers. You are the demigod, you're the god, you have to be authentic. You have told yourself you are the truthful person, you are virtuous, I'm very happy about it, but then it cannot be a fiction. It can't be a science fiction. It can't be 2.0. It can't be 3.0. It has to have a real life story that you are making the connection with the customer. You have to build the trust in the customer. And people would like to do business with you. They will come to you and ask for business if your story is good. Listeners sense the authenticity. And if they don't see it, they will reject the story and the teller. And remember, as a software tester, you are the storyteller. Your story can be rejected if it is not authentic. So, friends, take care of the 4th important tip out of the 9, be authentic. Okay? Use conversational tones. Use conversational tones. That means you need to use some common words. Words which can help your audience to relate. Don't be too bombastic, don't be too literary, don't be too language-based. I think you have to tell the right information in a friendly manner, and the most important thing is you have to put the audience at ease. You have to put the audience at ease. If your audience is not at ease, he or she may not like to listen to that story. This is the 5th point I have. Remember, the only one hero in the whole storytelling process is the audience. Audience is the hero. The product should not be the hero. When you are having a software tool, a demo, a testing tool, I think you have to only think the person who comes on the booth, the person who is listening to you is the hero. Neither should be the presenter. It is the audience who is the hero. He has to feel that after the story has been told, that he is going out of that storytelling as a hero. Very important. Can they relate the experience that you're telling? So when the whole movie is over, you know, it's not the hero of the film is the hero. You should be the hero when you go out. You should feel, oh my God, everything has been done to make me feel that I'm the hero. So that's the type of story you need to tell. This is very important. I think this is something which we have achieved a lot. All the customer presentations we do are visual, full of dashboards. I do it day in and day out. Countless studies, visual storytelling, complex data put into digestible, memorable chunks of information, animated GIFs, short videos, narratives. I think we have started doing this very well. I see all companies going on the visual route, and visual storytelling is becoming very popular. Sell your story, not the product. So when you are a software tester, or for that matter, a software company or a boutique company, whatever job you do in testing, I think what we have to do is you are selling and offering something where you are risking your own story of not coming in a genuine way. So it was Michael, founder and CEO of Get Storied, who states that people don't buy a product. They don't buy a service. They don't even buy an idea. They buy the story that is attached to it. Your story should focus on the outcome that the audience needs. So ladies and gentlemen, take care of this point, very important, because all of you are going to be in this business. Storytelling is going to be more important. Then last but not the least is, at the end of the day, the story should have a human and an emotional connotation or a connection. When I say human, the emotions which you are trying to bring in the story, a neuroscientist by name Antonio says that emotions play a very vital role in decision making. He said that the implications are fantastic, and there are other gentlemen who have talked about it in different keynote speeches, and I think the one keynote speech of Doug was very interesting. Speak from your head, deliver your content, deliver the message that you know that you have to deliver, but keep the heart wide open. Keep the heart wide open so that they feel who you are. They have to feel that who you are when you deliver the content. So if you're not able to sell yourself at the end of the storytelling, then I think the craft was a bad attempt. You have to make that craft, and you have to better it as time progresses. So that's the message, ladies and gentlemen, when you try to make human emotional connections in storytelling. So these are some of the basic tips. Coming to the testing tips for the testers, I think the time has come that you are advocating yourself through bugs. Your script is your bug. So when you are selling a story, your script is your bug. So I would advise all the testers to adopt and conform to something called bug advocacy. We talked about customer advocacy, we have talked about different terms, but I think bug advocacy is a very important skill which all testers must learn. Motivating the buyer who takes your software product or your framework, your tool, your automation stuff, whatever you're trying to convince your programmers and developers to buy. I think bug advocacy is very important, and believe me, it is the bug where you tell your story and the impact of the story has to be told. And it could be a bug which has failed, and you have to do your failure case studies well. So this is the tip I have to tell. And 3 good qualities you should have. Don't copy anybody else's experiences. Don't take the story of the company A and sell it at B's customer meet. Do your own experience and stories. Practice a lot. It makes you perfect. Paint the pictures with your words. So whatever conjectures, guesses, or pictures or gesticulations which are coming in your mind, try to paint it, try to visualize it, and try to see if you can have a strong example to communicate the story. So this is almost a path which has been well tried. I personally followed this path, that I don't copy anybody else's experiences when I have to tell my testing stories to my customer. I practice a lot and decide what exactly has to be in the slide deck. I paint the pictures with my words. So I have seen successes coming to the customers when we do this. So with that, I would request all the testers to stand up wherever they are. Can you all stand up wherever you are? This is a small exercise for you post-lunch. We are going to do a small commandment run for all the testers. So please keep your hands like this. Please keep your hands like this. And say it with me. I am the tester. I am proud of it. I own the product. I can so much salt it. I am proud to be a tester. I can shift left. Louder, please. I can shift left. I can shift right. I can shift up. Though I am shot by the customer, I am the proud postman. I am the customer advocate. I am at the center of the universe. I test because I love. I test not because I don't know how to code. I test because I love. I have arrived. I can work with machines. I can work with them in tandem, harmoniously. I am all along the software delivery chain. You can see me from concept to finish. I am the Shiva. I am the destroyer. I destroy the product and help the Brahma to create and co-create. I don't have a religion, manual or automation. I am learning it all. Try me out. Give me time. I can help and I will help. I am a generalizing specialist. I am the king. I am the context imperial king. At the stroke of the midnight, when the whole IT industry is seeing job losses, no one can touch me. I have embraced the future. I have seen the future. Testers, Jindabad. Thank you very much.
Well, all hail Dr. Shankar Ramamoorthy. That was just so fantastic. Thank you for waking us all up after a belly full of amazing food. Once again, big round of applause for that lovely exercise for all of you testers.